Well, apart from a little tease of winter across southern parts of the British Isles, it has been disappointing. We continue to look at Europe and see snow and bitterly cold temperatures across even areas that we would typically go to for our summer holidays. For example, Alicante. We are we did see snow, of course, and we also seen temperatures in the interior mountains of minus 23 Celsius in central Spain. The weather pattern, it looks as if, certainly according to the GFS ensemble, isn't particularly favourable for anything significantly cold as we go through the remainder of the month of January for the British Isles I'm talking about. And it looks as if we are going to start to pick up a little bit more of an Atlantic influence as we go in the next week here. So, but there is one thing that is making me kind of pull back on the idea of nothing particularly winter-like on the horizon, because the modelling continues to suggest the stratospheric warming event towards the end of January, and that remains open to question. How many times over the years have we seen this taking place and it doesn't really materialize, or if it does materialize, it doesn't favor cold, particularly so across the western half of Europe. Now, yes, we have bypassed the midpoint of winter now, just ever so slightly, and we are going to potentially see some winter before all is said and done. I don't believe that the winter is completely done with us just yet, but it has been disappointing in terms of snowfall. It has been disappointing in terms of the longevity of any cold spell that we've seen. It has been very, very short lived. And it's not even been a case of, we've had a more stormy winter like we've seen in 2013, 2014. It's just been simply a very quiet winter. It has been fairly dry. It has been fairly quiet. We haven't really seen anything in the way of storms. For example, we've only seen, I believe, two named storms, and we're already into the second half of January. Now, recent winters, we've probably seen about at least a half dozen, and it's been interesting that we've seen this block and winter pattern here, but it's been favouring very chilly conditions across Europe, not so much across the UK, and simply because that block has been too close to our shores, and has been very strikingly similar to 2011-12 when we had that block and high, yes, but it was too close to the UK, particularly so across the northern half of the UK. Northern Ireland, Scotland hasn't been particularly cold, but it hasn't been anything particularly stormy either, simply because high pressure has been dominant. And we've had two separate waves of cold this winter, one focused over Italy, the second focused more over Spain. But all in all, it has been an impressive winter, I think, across parts of the continent. So this is the GFS ensemble here. Let's skip through the next 330 hours, and you can see what I'm talking about here. Area of trophiness starts to migrate up towards the central North Atlantic. We've got a January thaw in place across the northern and eastern half of the country at the moment, across the other side of the Atlantic in the United States. And you can see here this area of high pressure that's been so dominant this winter across the UK, that starts to kind of move on into the continent. We start deep in the trough over the North Atlantic, and then it starts to push its way towards the UK. So we are going to see lower heights, possibly more unsettled conditions. How cold do we get? That's the big question. But also thrown into the picture is the fact that if, and it's a big if, we see a sudden stratospheric warming event, the modelling isn't going to see that just yet. It would be probably into the month of February that we see it. But you can see here the heights completely turn around from positive to negative. That indicates more movement across the Atlantic and more unsettled weather into the UK. But you notice here as well that the GFS does try to deepen that trough into the UK, which would suggest possibly colder conditions infiltrating, but also ocean influenced cold as well. So it's nothing particularly Siberian or Arctic in the true sense of the word here. So we maintain a disappointing pattern at the moment, if you like winter, but watch this space, folks. I still believe we're going to get something before we hit the spring months. Might even have a late winter this year, extending into the month of March, for example. But no video over the weekend. But what I will have is I hope to have my February outlook available come Monday morning. So watch out for that. So hope you have a great weekend, and I'll be back again next week. Have a great day. Bye for now.